After 2 months of strange experiments, websites getting hacked, and connections to an event that took place over 10 years ago, I think we finally have answers about the mysterious organization that could supposedly record your dreams. It's time to finally connect the dots with the infamous new Noology network and a secret rebellion known as Elsewhere. Over a month ago, the new Noology network was handing out flyers on college campuses asking for participants to take part in sleep experiments that could record your dreams and have them displayed live on Twitch. Shortly after, they announced all slots were filled when more people stepped forward than they expected. But luckily for us, they were opening up a new set of experiments taking place on a website called Cinebody, where we could take part in a new set of trials every week over the course of November. The trials were rather odd. Each one had a list of instructions narrated by a woman, asking us to leave our homes and record ourselves doing or saying strange things. For example, one of the instructions was to go outside and say "stuck" 3 times, one being quiet, another in your ordinary voice, and lastly, yelling it to the camera.
Stuck. Stuck!
Others required you to announce who you were in public. For instance, my name is Jamie, so I would look to the camera and say, "I am Jamie, and I am me." Someone found out there was going to be 5 trials in total, and since they're releasing one each week, it was most likely going to last around 5 to 6 weeks. However, the people behind this seem to have other ideas. Everyone who participated in the trials and put their emails forward then received an email called Racing Against False Nonchalance. It was from a man named Brian, who's been working for the new Noology network during the live streams. Brian claims he's had enough with this organization. They're lying to us. They can't be trusted. They are trying to manipulate you.
To all, have you ever dreamed of walking down a long hallway, only able to see a few feet in front of you? That's how I spent my last few months with my former employer. The NNN is seeking to understand your mind, whether awake or asleep. They want your attention, your clicks, your dreams, and your thoughts. They tell you what to think about. Your liminal activities matter. They have ways to collect it. Or rather, they had a way. I've taken the MHTU to ensure it can't be used on you. It's not the most discreet thing to have around, but in certain communities it fits in perfectly. You'll see what I mean.
Brian claims he's stolen something from them, something that will stop them in their tracks. But what exactly is it?
I am Francis, and I am me.
Hey buddy, can you get off my stoop?
Oh, I'm filming a thing that makes it look like it's my house.
It's fine, but get out of here. I'm gonna call the police.
Okay. Get out of... Okay.
A user in the Discord known as Neckbeard reached out and replied to Brian in hopes of getting some new information. Luckily enough, he got a response. In fact, he was the only person who got a response. Brian said he loved Neckbeard's trial videos and attached an image of himself with the property he stole. It appears to be a van. The same van we saw in the live streams 2 months earlier. The reason I bring Neckbeard into this video is that not only are his trial videos entertaining to watch, but it seems the creators have roped him into the story, whether he liked it or not.
Stuck. I'm stuck! Stuck. Stuck.
Trials 0, 1, and 2 were complete, and upon waiting for the NNN to give us a code to access Trial 3, the story took a dramatic turn when a username called The Squatch entered the fan-made Discord servers, claiming to be a part of the story. These Discord servers were just here to document the events of the game for anyone who wasn't entirely caught up with the story, and maybe even discuss where they believed it was going. But then the Squatch, who had been observing and interacting with users for quite some time, suddenly decided to step forward claiming to be a part of it all, after the Discord member Neckbeard went on a conspiracy rant.
I know this is gonna sound a bit out there, dude, so try and keep an open mind, but what if this ARG itself was done and paid for with another purpose in mind? Maybe even mind control with government sponsorship like MK Ultra, but they have all this plausible deniability. But now some people who were involved do not like what has happened, like Brian, like he's a real dude who led the ARG, like some Snowden who was stolen a real piece of hardware and stuff, and the game jacking is real.
What you're saying does not sound that crazy at all. I happen to know firsthand that multiple people involved with creating this project are very unhappy with the situation they find themselves in. I'm not at liberty to discuss the details, but let's just say that even though people like Brian are not part of the script, they certainly affect the outcome.
How do you know about all this? I mean, really, what is your source?
Because I am one of the people who literally helped create all of this. I'm sorry, but I cannot say any more.
Obviously, fans in the Discord were skeptical on whether or not he was telling the truth, so the members asked for proof, otherwise he would be banned.
Okay, are you able to give us evidence of this and not just your word?
Sure, I can give you an internal access code for the GCI trial.
But everyone who got Trial 2 has that same code. Now, if you were to have Trial 3 to 5 codes, then maybe.
Try that one.
It actually worked.
Of course, this didn't prove 100% that this guy was telling the truth. A dedicated fan could have easily figured out this code, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Unfortunately, the Squatch disappeared before we could ask further questions, leaving internet users to debate amongst themselves on whether or not he was telling the truth. The very next day, the website shut down, claiming a security breach took place. All trial videos had been removed until further notice.
Due to an internal security breach, all access to the site has been suspended until further notice. All experimental data has been removed from remote access platforms, and all parties responsible are being dealt with to the full extent of local jurisdiction laws.
Hey everybody.
On the 23rd of November, Brian took over the new Noology Twitch account and began live streaming himself driving through the streets for half an hour, with a list of usernames from the Discord servers, Reddit, and probably other places that follow the game. But several people pointed out that Brian wasn't actually driving. It was a green screen, which is exactly what we saw in the older live streams. It was all part of a set. So, is Brian doing the same thing here? And if so, why? Well, Neckbeard made a theory suggesting that Brian might have been faking his journey to trick the new Noology network into finding his real location. But if that's true, then his future streams suggest that plan had failed. A couple of days later, he begins live streaming again, this time with half of the names crossed out and only a few remaining. It gets even stranger as the very next day, his final live stream arrives and he reveals it was indeed all fake. There are only two names left on the list, Yankee White and Neckbeard, both very active users in the community.
Okay everybody, so I rigged up that voting system from the Dream Studies. We're going to use it a little bit differently tonight. We've got two of you with sky-high ALAs. Vote right for Neckbeard, or left for Yankee White.
Brian makes us vote between the two. After the result comes through, Brian begins driving, making his way to a specific location. Everyone's eyes on the stream in anticipation of what was to come next.
Best of luck to both of you. What? Oh my god.
Dude, you nervous?
You were one of the last people left.
He eventually pulls up outside a house. We witness someone in the corner walking towards the van with a mobile phone in their hand before Brian decides to start driving again. Some red lights begin flashing and Brian begins to panic. He pulls over and abandons the vehicle. The stream cuts out. And oddly enough, the story continues in the fan Discord server, where Neckbeard uploaded a video.
Dudes, I just heard something pull up out front of my house. It's a white van.
Dude, there is a freaking white hollow van parked on my street. What? What?
He doesn't know what to do.
The car's gone. It's just a holovan. He's just sitting there.
After several minutes of users trying to process what is happening, Neckbeard finally manages to upload his second video, where he confronted the van.
It's still here. I don't believe it. Whoa. Okay, I want to see if Brian's inside. Wait! Hold on, man! We all have a bunch of questions! Desi Darling has a bunch of questions!
It turns out the man we saw in the live stream with a mobile phone walking towards the van was Neckbeard himself.
He drove south. My cousin Billy Jack's gonna drive me. I'm not sure where to go.
Neckbeard tried following the van according to his comments in the Discord, but it seems like it was no use. The vehicle appears to be long gone. Neckbeard hasn't really spoken too much since then. People have theorized that he's part of the story, but honestly, it doesn't matter if he is or not, as this whole thing was pretty entertaining to see unfold regardless. I point this out because the other user on Brian's list, Yankee White, is actually not part of the game, but people started accusing him shortly after the stream was over, which made things rather difficult for him to continue. I can confirm that Yankee isn't part of the game, as a journalist known as Michael J. Anderson, who is a huge expert in this particular area of the internet, he has vouched for Yankee just being a regular guy, with an incredible beard I might add. Which is why I don't want to say Neckbeard is a character and then suddenly find out he actually isn't. But either way, the creators have clearly attached him to the story regardless. But if anything, you can't blame the Discord server for being suspicious, as it's not the first time these creators have seeded characters into the community. You're probably wondering what happened to the Squatch after claiming to be part of the game and then mysteriously disappearing. Well, he did finally come back, and with a lot more proof to say the least.
I realize you guys had a lot of reasons to doubt me. I'm the only one who posted the flyers in Philly. You know there is a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious and makes you so sick at heart that you just can't do it anymore.
Okay. Do you have proof of this?
Sure. Here's the original file.
He posted a picture of a flyer saying, "Want to join us in Elsewhere?" You're probably wondering how exactly that connects to the new Noology network. Well, allow my friend Regular Dimension to shed some light on that for you.
Hello everyone, Regular Dimension here. Thank you so much to Inside a Mind for the opportunity to make my way to this part of the YouTube multiverse. But enough about me, and back to the topic at hand. Around the time new Noology flyers were making their path across the United States and Canada, right underneath our noses a volley of flyers made their debut in Philadelphia. The flyer, titled Elsewhere, contained a list of activities that rather ironically are almost mirror opposites of the new Noology network trial instructions, ranging from the user looking into the camera and saying, "I am regular, and I am you." This flyer's PDF file was uploaded by the Squatch, our titular mystery man, and surprisingly was created long before the flyer was even discovered. Which means that unless the Squatch pulled off some insane snatch of the flyer materials long before the public got their hands on it, it's highly unlikely that he's a quote-unquote game jacker. Now you all may be wondering, what's all this Elsewhere talk? It keeps coming up an odd amount of times, i.e. the flyer. Well, a series of circumstances has led the community to connect New Noology Network and its story to an AMC television show called Dispatches from Elsewhere. Dispatches from Elsewhere is an upcoming anthology series from AMC that touts audience interaction as its big gimmick. And one of the actors in the show, Jason Segel, has been connected to the Squatch by the similarity of jawlines of all things. Now, the show goes a bit deeper than you might think. While this seems to be the end of the rabbit hole, some quick digging reveals that this show is some sort of fictional retelling or even a potential sequel to the events of an ARG that took place in 2008 in San Francisco called the Shaishun Institute. This ARG featured the titular group that appeared in the new Noology story called Elsewhere, used words that Brian has used, such as nonchalance, rather heavily, and also began its story with flyers. Furthermore, the username of the Squatch is a clear reference to the entities referred to as Urban Sasquatch that appear in the Jejun Institute ARG. So, if the Squatch actually is a gamejacker, he's done his research and information thieving rather superbly, which I genuinely doubt is the case here. And in general, I'm confident all these stories are intertwined and connected for sure, and potentially far from over. Dispatches from Elsewhere recently released both a teaser trailer and their very own Twitter account, which up to today is still updating weekly. And with AMC toting that this show will create some pretty widespread audience interaction as the episodes play out, it's safe to say that New Noology Network and the Elsewhere story are far from over.
Welcome to the Jejun Institute.
You've all been selected as secret agents. Behind this world, there is a world which has been hidden from you.
You say that it's a game, a prank.
We're watching you.
Well, what if it's real?
My friend, you don't belong here. Come with me. Choice is yours.
It'll be very interesting to see how things go from here, and AMC definitely has my attention. Now back to Inside a Mind.
So, the new Noology Network is potentially a sequel to the mysterious story that took place almost 12 years ago, the Jejun Institute. I'll probably cover that in a future video, but there is a documentary on Amazon Prime if anyone wants to know more about it. Just before I started writing the script for this video, it turns out there's one more piece of evidence that connects these two together. In the Jejun Institute, there was a rebellious group who called themselves Elsewhere, planning to take down the Jejun Institute. Just recently, some of the users in the Discord received an activation code for the Cinebody app, revealing a brand new set of trials. This time, it's for a new organization called Elsewhere. If you were still skeptical before on whether or not these two were connected, then this undoubtedly connects everything together. Elsewhere are fighting against the new Noology Network, and they're wanting us to join their cause. That seems to be it for now, as the story is on a hiatus, but you can watch the Dispatches from Elsewhere trailer here on YouTube, which is the show that potentially is connected to the new Noology Network. They also have a Twitter account if you want to keep an eye on that and see if any more connections for the new Noology Network pops up. You can check out the fan Discord server too. I'll link it on my About section for now, until the story is of course over. If you join it, you can obviously read up on the actual conversations between the Squatch and even Neckbeard's videos. I want to say thank you for Regular Dimension for joining me on this video, and also thank you to my two voice actors, Eric Nielsen, who has his own YouTube channel called The Looney Turtle, and George Hochter, who has his own Twitter account, which I have linked in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.